Portugal has many upsides to offer. It has a high quality of life, a stunning and diverse nature with tropical islands in the Atlantic. Portugal offers a vivid culture and a diverse cuisine. It also is a strategically safe place, as it even in World War II remained one of Europe's last escape routes. So it is not surprising that Portugal is a popular destination for Europeans who are moving abroad, and especially among retirees, Portugal is a trending country, as Portugal offers strong incentives for people to spend their best years in this country. Nevertheless, as in any country, there are some downsides that you will have to consider when moving to Portugal. So let's address these drawbacks and begin with Portugal's labor market. The median monthly net income in Portugal is at 1,002 euros, which is not low, but lower than in many Western and Central European countries. Estonia, the Czech Republic or neighboring Spain, for instance, have higher median wages, which is just something to consider in case you are planning to work in Portugal. So even though the cost of living in Portugal is relatively low, so are salaries. There are also limited job opportunities in specialized areas. The unemployment rate is at 6.6% and the youth unemployment rate at a whopping 23.4%. If you can work remotely or have enough savings accumulated for a comfortable life in Portugal, then this downside will not affect you that much. Another drawback of Portugal is bureaucracy. Both Portuguese and foreigners agree that one of the biggest disadvantages of living in Portugal is the red tape that you have to put up with. Especially if you are interested in moving to Portugal, then keep in mind that high bureaucracy is something you will need to get used to. To be fair, this is a problem in many but not all European countries, but still this is something to consider. Let's get back to finances for a moment and consider the price of some consumer goods. While general living expenses are not too high, and inexpensive freshly locally grown food is something that is valued by people who move to Portugal, some consumer goods as clothes and electronics tend to come with a hefty price tag. This downside becomes more severe if you are interested in moving to one of Portugal's islands in the Atlantic. In Madeira or the Azores, all products that were not produced locally need to be imported. But still, living costs in Funchal are about 18% less than in the Portuguese capital Lisbon. So it probably really depends on the region and the type of consumer good that you are looking for, and we cannot draw general conclusions here. Portugal's climate is one of the main reasons for its popularity, but many are unaware of the fact that Portugal also receives a lot of rain, especially in the north. London, which is internationally known for its rainy weather, receives about 615 millimeters of rain a year. But Porto, on the other hand, Portugal's second largest city, welcomes over 1,230 millimeters of rain annually, more than double that of London. In general, the further south you go, the less rain you can expect. In Lisbon, you can expect 770 millimeters of rain, still more than in London. And in Faro, a city in the Algarve, you can expect about 522 millimeters of rainfall. So even though summers can get extremely hot, make sure to take an umbrella with you in case you are interested in moving abroad. In some regions, fog is also a daily companion, especially in winter months. In combination with rain, winter months can feel depressing, but on the other hand, they pose a good contrast to the warm summer months. Related to the previous downside, we have the fact that many houses are not equipped well enough to fight cold temperatures in winter. They were not built for colder winter months, with fewer adaptations such as double windows, central heating or adequate insulation compared to other European countries. Therefore, it is common for Europeans living in Portugal to complain about the cold here. Many houses were built just with summer in mind. And that makes sense since most of the year no heating is required, but then there are days where temperatures drop and proper insulation would be required. Apparently, even in some restaurants where there are no heaters installed, people eat while wearing their jackets. Obviously, the language barrier is something that you will need to consider when moving to Portugal. Portuguese is considered to be a difficult language to learn, but luckily English is widely spoken in Portugal, especially in its large cities and touristic regions. In fact, there are plenty of foreigners who live comfortably speaking only English, but learning Portuguese still shows that you are willing to integrate into Portuguese culture. It also allows you to better connect with locals and should be part of your journey of setting up a new life in Portugal. Just like in neighboring Spain, expats may find the slow pace of life a bit frustrating at first. Locals are not generally in a hurry to resolve issues and deal with problems. It's not necessarily a downside, but it's just something you will need to get used to. What I also read in some online reports is that apparently people in Portugal are not famous for sticking to traffic rules and regulations. Exceeding speed limits, ignoring road signs, or overtaking on any side can be observed on Portuguese roads. This of course is a generalization, but it doesn't hurt to be aware about this. It is also common to see cars badly parked on the pavements, taking up space designed for pedestrians. Earlier I mentioned that houses and apartments in Portugal are not particularly well insulated. This also favors the spread of noise, especially in apartments. But even in houses, it may be that you experience noise problems. Barking dogs, for instance, which can sometimes be heard throughout the entire night, can reduce your quality of life. Of course, this depends a lot on your particular apartment and also on your neighbors, but still it makes sense to take a closer look at noise pollution before signing a long-term lease or before buying a property. And again, this is not only a drawback of Portugal, but also of other countries in South Europe. Portugal is known for its beaches and the sea, and yet tourists and expats are surprised at how cold the water at the coast of Portugal is. Portugal doesn't border the Mediterranean Sea, but the Atlantic Ocean. The Caroni current brings cool water to the coasts of Portugal, so you can't expect very warm water temperatures. But if you rather stay on land anyway, this disadvantage will not affect you too much. And if you are a surfer, then the quality of the waves can compensate for the low water temperatures. In recent years, tourism in Portugal has boomed. In 2019, 27 million tourists visited Portugal, which is a lot for a country with a population of just over 10 million. Lisbon in particular has become one of the most popular destinations, attracting millions of tourists from all over the world. Although tourism is an important part of the economy and thus a significant source of income for many businesses, such a rush of tourists also comes with downsides. Crowded streets, long queues, pollution and noise can be experienced. But if you stay away from touristic places, then you will not observe these drawbacks. As always, the last downside is a bit of a fun fact. Expect to gain some extra kilos after moving to Portugal. Portugal has a great cuisine with many locally produced fresh ingredients, a wide variety of seafood and great wines. So be prepared for mouth-watering culinary experiences and don't be sad once you stand on the scale the next day. As always, all sources are linked in the description below. Did I forget a downside? Then please let me know in the comments.